All right, hey folks, how we doing there? AJ here with our second episode of our Encore series. First of all, thank you so much for your support for the first episode, Bubble Wrap. All the comments and all the likes and support. It's been so helpful to see all of that, and we're all so grateful. If you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Go watch it. It's on the channel. Bubble Wrap Episode 1, starring Justin Congolo and Casey Wayne. If you're watching this video right now, hopefully you've seen the second episode, The Trade-Off, starring my talented friends, Derwin King and Gabby Garrett. So friends, as we like to start these things off, initially, just give me a quick, or not so quick, feeling how you're feeling, just a little who you are, what you do, and your experience in the New Orleans creative fields.
Mm, okay. I'm Derwin King. I am an actor, podcaster, performer. And I've been performing in New Orleans, I think, for like 2 years, maybe a year and a half or so. Since moving here, I immediately got into background. And then did a lot of acting like in Atlanta, DC, Houston, and recently Chicago. So I hadn't gotten a chance to work in New Orleans, like doing full roles until I worked with Pell, the rapper Pell, in his play Hilarious Pursuit. Yeah. And it was really nice because I was like, damn, there are like so many talented people in New Orleans. I should really be doing work here. So from there, I just kind of started trying to pop into places where actors gather, which is how I found Actors Apothecary. And then I met you. So this is like the next leg of me doing work in the city. Also hosted the Dewdrop Inn has this really cool brunch performance on Saturdays, and I've filled in and doing that, and it's been really fun. So I've graced a stage or two here, but hopefully it'll be more.
Nice, nice, nice. You mentioned you kind of started in like background. Can you maybe speak on a little bit of those first feelings of dipping your toe into like, oh, so this is a set life?
Yeah, I mean, so I like background because of the exposure you get to being on set, but I've been acting since I was 13, and there is something you just can't get from doing background that I really yearn for. So like it really is like on one hand this really dope opportunity because I never knew how sets run. And I love watching people do what they do well. I love watching crew do things, and like the technical language is so above my head. So I'm just like wide eyed and like, ooh, this is so cool. And always find myself in the middle of that. So I love set for that reason. But I really love diving into story, and I'm impatient. So I want to do it now. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do background with the hopes that maybe one day I'll be able to do this in this capacity. I would rather do the things right now, and then hopefully one day, like, I'll be able to do it on a set.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Funny enough, my very first time when I saw the first cattle call for Jurassic World, and my thought was, "Oh, I might get discovered." I was such a baby. And then now that I have like 10 plus years of film under my belt, it's like, that poor little baby.
And it's so
She had no idea. I started out on background, and then I kind of worked my way up. I did stand-in work, and I still kind of do that here and there, but I jumped on the crew side and I started PAing. After a couple of years of doing that, I'm totally jumping ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
After doing PA work, I was just right time, right place. I met a producer. I was working in the office for, are we allowed to name drop?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I was working in the office for Mayfair Witches season 1, and one of the producers kind of found out like, oh, you dance. It's like, yes, I do. And so our UPM came and popped in my window like a couple of weeks into shooting and said, you want to do choreography? I said, yes, it's what I've been waiting to do. But yes, shall I go backwards?
No, yeah,
Okay.
sure. Yeah, go ahead.
So yes, I'm Gabby, and I'm a dancer, choreographer, and I've been doing film for, like I said, 10 plus years. And actually, after the writer's strike, everything kind of died. Like,
Mhm.
you know, And I was getting such good connections finally. I was getting a couple of choreography projects right after, like right before. And then once the strike came, it was like no projects coming into New Orleans, very little. So I ended up having to go back to being a stand-in and doing some PA stuff on the side. And it's been very slow since then. But I mean, we all kind of know what that's like now.
Yeah. I kind of want to jump into a little bit about you guys' processes, like getting the script for Trade Off. Like, can you walk me through, like, what was your experience like getting to that motion of just like, yeah, I get this script, I read the script up until I'm on set, it's happening, he's yelling action. You sort of threw that one at her. You were like,
I'm like, yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. So other than doing background and stand-in stuff, I find it's like that's a completely different ball game from you coming in as first team and being, you know, the where am I going? Like you're the lead now, and so coming into that was new because I got my script and it's funny because I even told you, I'm like, "I feel like you wrote this about me, like, this specific character." So, I feel like I didn't really have to prepare too much because I felt like she was me. And so, I like I said, I read the script and just I'm more coming in the day that we did it. After, like, going through rehearsal with you, and he's like, "Hey, you said you wanna read through this together." I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then adding in the little things of, "Oh, well, when she says this, she's gotta react to him," or yeah, she's reacting this way, and then it's putting it into your body where I was like, "Oh, so I finally have, like, control of what I'm doing, and it's not I'm watching somebody else and I have to mimic what they're doing."
mm-hmm.
Like, I get to put it on and, like, I'm in control.
Yeah.
Like, that was nice.
I
That
think
was nice.
to go off of that, like I knew like writing the character, I was like, I want Trish to have something that's so far away from like your stereotypical, just kind of just like by the books. Just I'm a manager for this kind of diva superstar in Jackson Love, and it's like, what can she have that's like this like beautiful kind of art form? And I said, oh, dance, and I was like, oh, I know Gabby reached out about this, and Gabby dances, so that's like that's perfect. You guys were just meshing, and like that happened almost immediately, and I was like, oh, that's so nice. By the end of the day, it's like you guys are talking and joking, and it's like I'm like not even like looking for notes because you guys just have the characters just in. I was like, that's Jackson Love and Trish Mann. And like after this, they're probably going out to, like for like drinks or something. I love that part of like doing these and just being able to sit back and watch the talent interact and find the characters outside of me because I purposely keep these somewhat vague. They're supposed to feel like almost like excerpts from a bigger story. So whatever y'all end up bringing to it becomes the characters. What's happened in days before this scene, months after this scene, that's all something that y'all bring into it, and we kind of find it together.
And you coming in with so much confidence really helped me because I was very nervous. I was very nervous because now it's like, "Oh, you have to be on." And you came in, you were like, "I know what I'm doing." Like,
I did
it's
not say
just
that.
but, like, that
It's like, actually.
that was your energy, and you're so charismatic, and you have this bright energy, and it was so easy.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun, like, getting ready for this, and I love that it was vague because it made me do exercises. I love telling people stories. I think that's why I was saying, like, I'm so impatient because there is it is not easy to pursue this as a craft, right? And I have experienced some heartaches in the pursuit of it alone. But what has always remained true is that I really love doing the work. Like I just want to do the work. That's why the background stuff isn't enough because I want to be, and you can, right? And I've gotten the opportunity to put something into something really small, put a lot into something really small, but to just really be able to step into someone's world is so fun. And when I was getting ready to, or when I was kind of like practicing at home, first I found out it was going to be really important to do it with somebody else. Like I wanted to be able to focus on Jackson. instead of jumping back and forth between him and Trish. And so I got my friend to come and read with me, which then allowed me to put it in body, which is so important to me in the process. It's like, how does it feel? Where do I feel this emotion? And then I was like, well, I want to know what that was like. I want to put myself in the position of him coming out to her. So we like did a little role play of that. And I don't know. I think my process is to understand them first emotionally, because there's some part of me that wants to exercise my own emotions first, right? So I understand this like broader emotional world for that character, and I can feel my own emotions coming up. And then I'm like, let's reel that back a little bit. What's happening here? What of this can I use? How can I use this to empathize and then focus in on exactly what that character is feeling? So that was how I approached it. And like, it was nice to have a proxy for you, but the minute we started reading and I was like, okay, this is her energy, then it was kind of fun to figure out how different our levels were and how that adds to the story. I think collaboration in acting, it took me a while to figure it out, but it's such a necessary part if you're not doing a one woman or one man show, because so much of your performance can be improved or affected or nuanced by the energy you're acting with. So, I mean, like, I knew I wasn't doing that shit alone. And you were so fun to work with because it allowed for me to figure out how high or, how leveled I could be. It was nice.
Yeah. I love you mentioned kind of like levels. I think like when we're doing these two, the vibe I want to give off is like, this is what we want to kind of like feel when we're on a set where it's like, I'm not asking you two to like, hey, can you go pick up Crafty? Can you guys like, I'm like, I want you to like be in your characters, be in yourselves, and also like see like a crew working in a professional sense that's like going around like you was using the lingo, being safe, like kind of implementing like ways. Oh, like it should be like this. Things should be like it. This should be like a fun experience
Yes.
for everyone involved, and like no one should be getting yelled at. No one should be getting like called out of their names. There should
My
be like,
coffee's not hot enough.
yeah, that calls that, yeah. It's like it's like because at the end of the day, it's like there's really no need for any of that, especially for stuff like this where it's like, oh, this is how it can be. This is how it should be, and it's like there's no reason why. Like I think we talked about after the shoot, like one of the bigger reasons why a lot of projects just don't happen is because it's just tough to like ask for help sometimes and like know like how and who to ask for help. And now you can leave this project and it's like, oh, like a sound person, multiple camera friends, you know access to like a studio, all these people that it's like, hey, can I ask you for a favor? And it's not just like a, hey, I'm cold calling you from some stranger's phone. Can you come shoot this film for me? And it's like, no, who the hell is this? I think that collaboration so much builds what we try to do here with all of this, because like also it just makes, it's like I've been doing this for a little while now, and like every time I try to do it when I'm directing, I try to do a little bit less each time, because the first few shorts you do, it's like, oh yeah, I'll write and direct, and also I'll help out with like some of this, and I'll light some of it, and I'll get some of the crafting. Before I know it, I'm like sitting in the directors are just covered in sweat, and I'm like, I'm not having a good time right now.
Oh, man.
It's like it's like you finish with this like sense of like, oh, I did it, I finished it, but it's like you watch the footage back and it's like, oh, I missed this thing because I was wearing too many hats.
Yes.
Yeah.
I missed, oh, so and so didn't say this line, but I didn't catch it, and it's my fault in that sense, because like my job was to do that, and I just didn't catch it because I was wearing too many hats, trying to do too much. And it's like, oh, I can ask for help for this. I can ask people for help, and it's like whether that be like repaying through like financial means or like, I mean, I'm all for bringing back, barter for stuff like this. It's like, look, man,
Love
I'll come
barter.
out for your thing, and I'll help gaff it. I'll help like grip it, and it's like, just give me like a decent lunch and like good vibes, and that's usually enough.
This is also the benefit of working with professionals. And I really did get the sense that like everyone on set was a professional, because like I remember there being a moment where you were like, "Did we say Turner or Rogers?" And I was like, it was Turner because I specifically was catching myself, and I was like, I remember the take where I almost said Rogers, but like, I was taking it seriously. I know Gabby was taking it seriously, and like everyone here was. And I think it isn't often that you get on a project and you see that everyone is putting the same amount of care
Yeah.
into it. And there wasn't a single moment during filming where I had that concern. Like I was just like, this is right.
Yeah.
This is right. Like
Yeah.
this is exactly how I want to feel, how I have expected to feel. And it just makes it's conducive to doing the work. It makes it easier for me to focus on doing only what I am meant to do and not like overextending myself or overreaching, putting my hands in pots where they don't belong. Because I think I've been in situations before where it was clear that something wasn't handled, and then now I am, like you were saying, running back and forth when it isn't even my
Yeah,
responsibility.
it's not your job. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, well, I want this to go well, so I can see that there's a gap here. Didn't happen. I was like, I'm just gonna focus on lines, emotion, and like doing what I'm told, and it was cool.
Yeah. I think it's important too from like a crew aspect where it is very like segregated in that sense where it's like if this department is having a problem, the worst thing that you can think of is like, oh, everyone just jump in. It's like, no,
Mhm.
like we are trained to do this, so you do this. And it's like if you're done with your specific task, if there isn't a way in which you can hop in, you just kind of get that opportunity to like relax for like decompress for a little bit, which is like nice, cause I remember, like, walking in, cause 'cause I'm not a very camera technical person, so it was nice to walk into, this room we're in now where camera's setting up, and I see 4 people much more skilled than me figuring out a problem, and I'm just being told, "Hey, give us, like, 20 minutes." I'm like, "Cool, that's all I have to hear. Thank you. Thank you so much, cause I don't know what to do in that situation, nor do I think it's really helpful for, like, younger creatives to get in that mindset of like, "Oh, if I'm, like, a young up-and-coming filmmaker in high school, I have to learn how to shoot and direct and act and sound and this." It's like, I think it's nice to have a general sense of all those things, but, like, when you do find out, like, what are those things you wanna focus on, once you do, really, like, focusing on those things and then, like, finding those people that are focused on, like, the other things, and you guys, like, form this little family, basically, where it's
Yep.
like, "Oh, I'm never having to, like, struggle with this, like, task that's just out of my wheelhouse because I know a person who will let me do it for free," and it's like, I'll come out and like their thing because they don't have that specific, like, skill set or trait, so I'd I really love, like, the idea of just, like it's like people are out there, you just have to find them. When you find them, you hold them tight. You hold them really, really tight. I hold mine really tight. Um, if if we're talking about right now, like, the idea of, like, these shorts sort of being excerpts from a grander sort of thing, where do you all see your characters, Trish and Jackson, going after this? Like, how do you feel like the drive home and the months further into his career into awards? How do you feel like these two sort of navigate now, sort of opening up this can of worm that has sort of been like festering and been shaken up for so long? It's open, but how do y'all feel that they kind of navigate that?
This isn't my story, but it is one that I imagined a lot when I was younger, when I was a teenager, and it made me really fearful to even do acting in any serious capacity because I had seen a lot of stories in my youth about what being gay does to a male actor, let alone a black one.
Yeah.
And so I was curious about what would happen with Jackson later because in an ideal world he'd have a career like Neil Patrick Harris where like there are roles out there for him. I watched a series of Unfortunate Events and I loved it. Um but I think like for him he would have to pivot a bit, right? So the good thing is that it's 2026. There are shows like Hacks with more queer characters in real situations, or you've got like Coleman Domingo, who I tapped into a lot when I was imagining what a career looked like for him. Um, and especially for like the outfit montages. I was like, let me think. Like I knew poses and everything. Like this is Coleman Domingo. So in an ideal world, it would open up a new avenue for him because of where we are as a society, as a culture. But I also imagine there being a lull and him having to find that adjustment because, yeah, doors are being closed and you
Mhm.
can't do the kinds of roles that you would have done before that would have got you on the track that you planned for. But there's so much space for discovery. So maybe now he's doing some queer projects, which feel liberating, right?
Mhm.
Because you can still do all the character work, but now you don't have to pretend like you're not interested in this man, whatever. Or you can actually draw on more of your own experiences, even with nuance, because even in the LGBTQ community, all of our stories are not the same. They're varied there too. There's such a rich, I don't know, smorgasbord of things to pull from, experiences to pull from. So yeah, it would not be an easy road. I think there would be some disappointments, but I also think the same way that coming out or inviting the world into your personal story, the same way that that's liberating, I think the new discovery and career is too. And this newfound closeness with Trish because, wow, she let me in on a part of her life. And that intimacy, that's weird. I don't know how I get that.
No, that's
When I was doing the character work for this, I was talking with my friend, and they were like, "I don't know if, like, that's enough, if her telling this part is enough." And I was like, "I think it is because what he was feeling was a alone and scared." There's so much fear in inviting someone into your truth, and because they work so closely, it's like, I did believe that we were friends, and for you to not open up any space for me emotionally is a form of rejection, and then now I'm being rejected again, and it means so much that without having to fully explain how isolated I felt or Jackson felt, that Trish is like, "Here I am.
Mhm.
You are gonna see me vulnerable too, and as an act of, like, love."
Mhm.
And that kind of witnessing, I think, is really vital to our human experience. Like, to know that someone sees you and is willing to stand there with you is what we're all looking for, I think. So,
I mentioned them briefly during the shoot day. I think, like, something I do truly believe is, like, so many problems that we have are the root of, like, just insincerity, just, like, not feeling like you can be yourself with someone or not feeling like you have to, like, manage that part of yourself, and it's like, you're right, like, in that moment, like, there is a bit of rejection of, like, Jackson's like, "I've given you so much of my life," and, like, for you, I'm sure you're like, "Oh, well, this is, a job, and you wanna keep things professional," but it's
yeah,
like, y'all have crossed that barrier. It's like you've probably been to his mom's house. You guys have been to, like, bar it's like you guys are friends,
yeah.
So it's like to feel that, like, okay, like, you've finally given me a piece, and for right now, I'm gonna be asking for more probably, Jackson, eventually, but, like, for right now, that's enough to kinda quell these feelings of rejection I felt for so long.
Yeah.
Um,
Especially on such a grand scale,
yeah,
like, they didn't, like, this is it. This is
yeah,
it.
this
This
is
is
it.
exactly why I didn't do it
Yeah,
in the first place.
yeah.
Like, that's so sweet.
Well, you speaking of rejection, like, so that was her dream. She wanted to dance and it just never worked out. And that's like, I know exactly how, like, that side feels where it's like you put so much into your art and you hope, that it's good enough. And
Yeah.
it's like as an artist, like, you don't want to sit here and put all your energy and everything that you have into this and somebody be like, "Oh, no, thank you." Like, it's like a personal hit every time. And I'm like, I completely understand that because I've been through audition after audition, and it's like it hasn't as a dancer, it hasn't quite panned out for me yet. I'm very lucky that I've gotten to do my choreography gigs that I had going on for film, but as a dancer, it's like I've gone to Radio City and I've auditioned for Rockettes and, like, for the 7 years, 7 years, not consecutively, but, definitely 5 years consecutively. And, like, right before I turned 30, I was like, "Okay, you know what? One more time. One more time." And I went up to New York, and it it's funny because now everybody is so young. Because before, when I was in my 20s doing it, like, we're all the same age, and now coming back, I was 29, and it's like everybody's 18 and on, like, 22 and, like, fresh face, and I'm like, "Ugh." But, yeah, like, her, like, finally opening up 'cause as just as a dancer, it's like, "Okay, well, this, like, this is who I am," and I've had to shut that down and hide that, and now I'm in this professional persona of like, helping everybody else's dreams, and it's like, here, like, this is me, so, like, this is who I am, basically, and, like, like, now you see me. That's kinda, like, how I relate to that.
Can I say something to you?
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
you were dancing, and they had, like, the lights and the fog machine, and I was just, like, looking at the footage and looking at you, and I was just, like, so moved. I was just, like, imagining what it was going to feel like to watch this in its completion and see you really shining, and you're so graceful.
Oh, thank
No, I really mean that. Like, it was really beautiful to witness. I am not a dancer, so I really admire what you ballet dancers can do with your bodies. And it was just something about the story being told and seeing you in action in that just, like, stirred something in me, and I did shed, like, 2 tears, and I had to catch myself because I'm a crybaby, I'm very sensitive. So, I literally was like, "Oh,
Nothing
there are
wrong with
people
that.
around, you need to get it together," and I just kinda, like, pulled it together, it was like, "Yeah, great job," and then they called it, and I was like, "Wow, that was wonderful."
Thank you.
Yeah, it was really beautiful, like, I really had to hats off to you for that.
Will.
I hope that y'all love that as much as I
Oh,
did,
yeah.
'cause
It was it was so cool too because like, I hadn't, like, seen any of the dance before, so I'm just like, "Oh, I know whatever she does is gonna be great." And it's like, getting to experience it in that moment for the first time, I'm like, "Oh, this is it."
And that whole time, I'm like, "Oh my god, I hope this is what he envisioned. I
Yeah.
hope this is good enough."
you all do that thing. You ballet dancers, like, it's all rehearsal, and they're just like, "Ah, da, 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 da," and then it's time, and they're pulling everything out, and I get it, like, point must be a lot because I wouldn't be practicing it, but as soon as she was on point, I was just like,
Yeah. What's I even love, like, cause I didn't mention it when we were filming the green room scene, how, like, the green room scene dance is a lot more, like, pull back and, like,
Mhm.
like, and I was like, "No, this feels like realistically what she would do in that moment."
I wanna say it's also humbling. I think in addition to being seen and connecting, it was probably humbling for Jackson to go from seeing her as a person who's been in service to him, right, and who's witnessing his situation, and his emotions that, like, "Oh, this world, like, there's more than my dreams, at play here, or me balancing my own emotions. There's someone else here who's set their dream aside to support mine, or and has supported mine." Um, and that kind of brings you back. In addition to feeling seen, it's also just like, I'm not the only motherfucker in the world, you know? I'm not the only person here with some heartache, and this person has all of this story and all this richness, and I can bear witness to that too. So humbling, I think, in addition to it being feeling seen.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. Can y'all talk a bit about what are some things you kind of took away from this project and this experience?
My mom made it. I've had a lot of insecurities about my path, about the energy or the ambition I have chosen to wield in my own personal journey. And there are ways that I think I could be working harder, but
Too.
but there are moments where I'm working with someone or a group of people and I'm like, I'm all right. And I really felt that way when we were filming this. And I think that's been true about all of the work I've done in New Orleans. This is such a phenomenal city. Because the people doing the work really are talented. I've seen a lot of pretenders in the world. There's grifters running all around, the US of A. But you guys are the real deal. And I felt really validated having worked on this set. And I also learned the importance of like the lateral climb, right? That you're looking at the people who are around you as you continue to move forward in your own professional journey, and know that those are the resources and the connections that you're going to pour into, and that are hopefully going to pour back into you. Yeah.
I like having worked on, like other film things and like big film sets and TV series. It was so good just to come into such a good and welcoming environment. Like everybody was here because they enjoy what they're doing. They're not here because, like, oh, I have to get to this. I have to do this so I can get to this point. We're all here doing what we love. And there's no egos. There's like no hierarchy. Like it's just good people doing what they want to do. And it was so, what's the word I'm looking for? Like just filling. It was so filling. Like it made me smile. Like I wasn't like watching the clock going, okay, all right, time to go home. It was I'm here and I'm present and I'm game to do whatever it is that we're gonna do today.
Yeah, it wasn't painful. And I was actually in pain for a good percentage of it. Like I was in physical pain.
We had no idea. We had no idea.
My shoes are like destroying my toes. But like I elected to wear them, and I didn't care. Like I was just like, I'm happy to be here. Like I'm just glad to be here.
Would you have any advice for younger actors maybe trying to get onto that path, and like potential steps they should take, and maybe steps they should be more wary of going through this kind of process?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Don't be afraid to use your voice. Like you are your biggest advocate. Like if something makes you uncomfortable, speak up. Like no matter what. Because at the end of the day, nobody has your back like you do.
Yeah. I think your biggest enemy is going to be fear. Like if I really think about any of the, I don't want to call them regrets, but any of the ways that I would have course corrected, it would have been to name my fear out loud and to someone who could really like talk me off of it, versus internalizing it and letting that kind of shape how I moved. Yeah. New Orleans has taught me to be a little bit more courageous. And I had to be courageous to move here to begin with, because I had never visited New Orleans before I moved here. Like I packed a sedan and I came down here. But I've learned so much about bravery, and I think that fear is definitely going to hinder your success more than anything else. Because resiliency is that's your best friend.
Got to be consistent. Got to be consistent. So at this point, do y'all have any questions you potentially want to ask each other? Any questions you want to ask me? Or just any other topics you want to chat about while we have some time?
Yeah. So usually when I'm acting, I feel like the director is like my parent. So like I need so much feedback. I'm like, oh, you went on doing.
Am I doing good enough?
It felt good to hear you be like, yeah, I could have just kind of sit back, because in my mind I was like, I don't know if this is going well. Like I can't tell if he's pleased. And I'm like looking at your face, like happy, like is this what he's looking for?
I'm like, okay, he hasn't pulled me aside yet to say, "Ooh, girl."
I try to operate under like the assumption of just like if I'm like vibing with what you're doing, I'll just let you do you. And it's like if I have notes, like I don't mind like pulling aside and say, hey, I don't think this is working. But like it was nice to like not really feel that for this shit at all. It's like there was rarely a time in which I felt like either of you made a decision where I either I didn't disagree with it, or I was like, oh, that was actually better than I was thinking. Let me just shut up and say, oh, yeah, of course that's what I thought, in the script, obviously. So yeah, that's always nice to hear. It's like I don't because I don't want to like. I think I worked in a short film like, maybe like a decade ago with a friend of mine who would eventually be the person who get me into the industry. And there was a scene with a pretty big local actor. I won't say his name, but the director, who I also won't say his name, the frustrations on the set were kind of building throughout the day. It was just like very intense, intimate scene between like two characters, and they just weren't getting there. So at a certain point, the director, I think he may have crossed the boundary and he started to like line read, and he was like very just like, just do it like this, say it like this. And like at that point, I don't really know what I'm doing because I'm still just like this young kid trying to like find my way in the industry. So I'm just like, I felt a little bit off, it's whatever. And we're wrapping out of the room when the actor is still in his bed, kind of contemplating, and he pulls me aside and he goes, "Hey kid, you see what he did just right there? You want to direct, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want to direct." He's like, "You never do that. You never do what he just did. Because what he just did is unacceptable." And I'm like, "Yeah, like that is unacceptable. Like, you don't come into like this space and like come with this overbearing energy of just like, oh, this is my set. They say it the way I want to say it. Because part of your job is like making sure they know that before they walk on set, making sure like we're on the same page in some capacity, like, and trusting your actors to like know that about you. And it's like, oh, if they feel unsure, you can always come talk to me about something.
Mm.
So I do love the approach of giving y'all the tools to help like flesh the art out. And then like when my job is done, if it's like you guys are getting it, then I mean we got it.
I feel like this is a growing point because other than like one acting class in college, and it's funny enough because to go back a little bit, I actually took a TV production class in high school because the dance electives were not available. And I was like, oh, I guess I'll just take this. And I went in like not knowing what to expect. I was like, I can't believe I have to take this class. And it ended up being my favorite class. I actually took the second level the next year, and I loved the teacher. It was everything just clicked, and I didn't realize like, "Oh, I could go to college for this." I just kinda stumbled upon I went to college for business and don't wanna do that, but, um, and I just happened upon, background, and then it just like I could have been doing this for years, and like it never clicked that, oh, like you understand this environment, like this is a career path, a very unstable one, but it so coming back to that, it's like now I got to create, and I want more of it. And now it's like I wanna go look at acting classes and, like, see if I can develop this, like, do I have a talent for this? Because like, I could definitely feel like as I came into this, I'm like, "Oh my god, they're gonna know that I'm terrible." And, like, if I say, like, I'm so flat or, like, my lines don't have any emotion in them, and I'm like, oh, I'm so monotone, like, how do I fix this? Can I fix this?" And so I wanted to live up to what you wanted, you know? Like, I didn't wanna disappoint because it's like, like, he's worked so hard on this, and, like, I am not, like, up to par yet, and I want to be. I want to be.
I think to go off of that, there's this, and I felt it in like both like in front and behind the camera, just this like imposter syndrome that comes through sometimes, especially when you first start off. It's just like, because when I first got into this, I'm like this young 20-year-old kid. I'm working on like crews of like people with like adult families. And I'm just like, I don't belong here. Like I don't feel like I belong here. And it's like eventually I'm just like, oh, I just kept doing it and improving and improving. And it's like,
Mhm.
no, I deserve to be here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm just as good as those. I understand this stuff. It took me a while, but I have it now. And it's like eventually, like, I do think, like, that voice, it does recede the more you do it, because it's like, "No, this is what I do." If someone asks me to come, like, gaff this thing, I'm not gonna be like, "Oh god, what do I" It's like, "No, I've done it before." That little voice just gets smaller and smaller, and eventually, I feel like you just don't hear it, which is just like, I remember there being a moment, maybe, like, 3, 4 years in where I just stopped hearing it, and I was like, "Oh god, this is so nice."
Mhm.
This is I can finally sleep, and that like dread over like, oh God, what's tomorrow gonna look like? Am I gonna mess up on set? Am I gonna like, like wrap a stinger in properly? Am I gonna like, blow up an 18K? It's like, no, why would that happen? You know what you're doing. That doesn't happen to folks that know how to do their job. And it's like
Yes.
eventually that became me. And I was like, oh, this is what they feel
Mm.
coming to work every day, just like, oh, this is just work now. It's not like
Mhm.
this stressful, anxiety inducing, like, oh, am I gonna like mess up? It's like, no, you're good.
Because you're confident. You've
You're good.
normalized
Yeah.
it. I love that.
And it's like, but it's like part of me does like love being able to look back and go, wow, like 10 years ago, I was really bad at this. Just like I was really bad at this. And like seeing like how I've grown myself. Like I remember you asked me, like, oh, how long have you been writing? And I'm like, man, some of the scripts I had back in college were just like, I mean, they're terrible, terrible. But it's like going back, rereading those to help with newer scripts. It's like, oh, like I've seen like how you can grow. And it's like, I'm sure for you two as like actors, it's like watching like that old audition from
Oh,
like,
God.
you're like, it brings about those feelings of just like, oh, that's so uncomfortable. But it's like,
And they're all here.
but it's like, oh, like,
You have to start.
yeah, you have to
somewhere.
start. And it's like, for me, I'm like, I feel like you kind of need that. Cause like, unless you're one of those like prodigies, nobody starts off like just good at this stuff inherently. You have to have those like kind of stumbling about figuring out like what you do well, what you do don't. And it's like once you find it, it's so good just to like find it, And I feel like maybe watching you too, I feel like y'all like found it. Like you both were like, I'm sitting back watching the monitor, just like, this is so good. We're making something that's just so satisfying to just be a part of like myself, and watch it come to life. So
It's very validating.
It is
yeah,
validating.
yeah.
I gotta say, honestly, being here is what has helped me to start the process of really overcoming imposter syndrome. I remember the first time I was sitting backstage and I looked around and I was like, damn, it's a lot of talented people in this room. And I was like, I'm here. I'm here too. I was like, wait, does that mean I'm really talented too?
Yes.
I mean, I was sitting in a room with, people that I had admired before I moved here, And I think I've always said this, because I thought there were specific things that would be indicators to me that like things were going well. And maybe would still help, but one thing I always knew was having the validation of my peers, of people that I worked with. Like if people that I worked with were like, this guy, then I would feel like, damn, I'm actually, because it's one thing your loved ones or people who've known you for a while are giving you like these compliments and you feel like people are just blowing smoke up your ass. And I can convince myself that people are being nice. But with strangers who owe me nothing,
Yeah.
and the only thing they know about me is the work that I did with them when they are telling me, like, you're really great. At some point, I'm like, I think I need to believe these people.
yeah.
And that feels really good because I can't tell y'all how much this has been. Yeah, I don't get to do it very, very often, but it is in me all the time. Like I'm always thinking about acting. Every life decision I make is factoring in how acting can be a part of it, even at my like job. How do I utilize skills that I've gained from acting? So I just live and breathe in it. And it's always really nice, especially when it's coming from a director who has a vision, right? Like you're telling a story and you have a vision, and to help make that happen and to hear that from you, it really means a lot. Yeah, thanks.
Blank. Sorry.
No,
I-
we're good. We're good.
I did have a question for you.
Yeah, please.
Because I'm still on the moment. How did it feel for you? And I didn't know if this was too personal to ask, but in how and were you feeling any bit as emotional in that scene as I was watching you? I really wanted to know that. And like you don't have to answer that, but
For which one?
when you were dancing.
Oh, well, I'd see the acting's one thing because that's like the whole like self-conscious, like, okay, it's like, I hope this is what they need. And then when it came to the dance part, I was like, okay, like I do this every day. Like this is me. This is who I am. So it's like that coming into that was a little bit more confident. And like once I hit that spotlight, I'm like, I know exactly like where she's coming from. Like I am her. So that was it just everything came together and I was like, this is my time.
Dude, so glorious. Like, I just wanted to know because I know what I was feeling. And I was like, I wonder what she's thinking right now because it truly was glorious.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean it.
But watching you work is pretty amazing as well.
Thank
Like you just like turn on.
I love the bit about like the dance, like because I was like, because I went into this thinking, oh well, I don't like because you mentioned you didn't have like much experience. I was like, oh well, I feel like the dance is almost like an easy way to like, oh well, I know she's really fucking confident in this, so I can
Yes.
like give you this role, and it's like, oh well, like now it's like you're not even thinking about that, you're just like in it, you're
Mhm.
looking forward to that part, and it's like getting to there. I was like, man, especially like us like ending the day with the dance. I feel like was so nice just to have that like,
Yes.
oh yeah, this is just I'm over talking it right now. We're kind of wrapping up. So with these last few minutes, and we can talk afterwards too. I just want to get this little bit out of the way first. But what do you guys have going on, I guess, in your futures? Like any projects and plays, any projects maybe you need like extra hands with, whether that be like behind the camera, in front of the camera. Just what do you need to tell the people, to the cameras, what Derwin and Gabby have going on and what's upcoming for y'all?
I don't have anything upcoming. Is it? Well, I mean, again, I have a podcast.
Yeah,
It's
you
called
pocket.
That Black Boy Joy
Yeah.
podcast. So we are ramping up for the next season of episodes. I'm really, really excited about it. Because I don't know, I'm in a new spot. I'm 31 now. I started that working with that podcast. Me and my co-host Lord Devery. We were both in our mid-20s when we started, and so now we're in our early 30s, and we have so many different things to talk about, and to explore, and it's really gratifying when you get listeners saying, like, "I thought about this thing in a different way." That's all I ever really want to do with that is to stretch people's, perspectives about our everyday lives and about their relationships with themselves. I'm really into esteem building, self-esteem building, and just like being the best version of yourself. So if you're down for that journey, come join us at That Black Boy Joy. So check that out. But I wanted to express a need, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So as I continue in this journey, this particular journey in my life, I'm wanting to be more creative and I'm exploring that more. So I started script. I can't believe I'm saying this. I started a script in 2020. I have like 10% idea what I'm doing. I've got characters, I've got story, but if anyone's doing like writing workshops, send them my way. I would love to know how to turn this into something. And in the meantime, I would love to start writing shorts like the one we did today because I think, to create my own opportunities to act. And I want to be in other people's stuff. Like I want to know the people who are telling stories. I want to tell their stories with them. And I want to do it here. So
That
check
all
my
Shama
sheet.
Vivid worlds also.
Um, so manifesting, Cher just confirmed, or maybe it's confirmed, maybe it's not. Maybe it was trash news. I don't know. Cher is doing a series on her life. So
That's right.
biopic, got that down? Just a couple more classes, but we can pay for those, right?
Bang too, girl. Yes.
No, I don't really. So I'm teaching. Like I teach. That's kind of my main gig right now, and that's as far as dance goes. That's kind of what I'm doing. But other than that, the world is open. So, like, I'm ready.
Where do
I'm
you
ready.
where do you teach at?
I teach right outside of New Orleans.
Okay. I was gonna ask if you went to like name drop the school, maybe.
Velocity, shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this was a pleasure to do this, and I want to hopefully keep doing more of these things. So please watch, comment, let us know what you think. Watch the episode of our two friends. They're in The Trade-Off, starring Derwin King as Jackson Love and Gabby Garrick as Trish Mann. Thank y'all for watching. Everybody wave to Peter. Thanks, Peter.
Thanks, Peter.
Love you.